plugin.
One of the more iconic plants within PvZ2, as it's a pretty early yet extremely powerful unlock. So I thought, why not put it to the real test and see if it alone could solo all of PvZ2 if at max level. But before we begin, let me tell you all the rules. Only Snapdragon, no power-ups or Zen Garden, skip all levels that force the use of another plant, pre-placed plants are fine, and lastly, coins earned throughout the challenge can be used to buy plant food, but no replaying levels to farm coins. Oh, and about 91% of people who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed, so if you end up enjoying the video, PvZ speedruns, not a very hot topic within the community, and rightfully consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind later. Okay, let the journey begin. Ancient Egypt itself isn't too difficult, so we're going to be speeding past it, but while it plays in the background, I'm going to be going over the max level stats of the Snapdragon. Its cost goes from 150 to 100 sun, its recharge time goes from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, its health goes from 300 to 900, its damage goes from 30 to 90, so it triples, and also you can add on the 200 mastery pierce bonus. His plant food damage goes from 1800 to 2200, so not too much of a difference. And lastly, a stat that only applies in the Frostbite Caves, which is its warming radius, and it has a 3.7x boost, which basically just means that the range of it is about 4 times higher. And that was all of Ancient Egypt B using just the max level Snapdragon. Next up, Pirate Sea, similar to Ancient Egypt, is a very easy world for the most part. There are some new challenges like protecting the flowers from being trampled on and also having to defeat a certain amount of zombies under a certain amount of time, but those are all very easy challenges in the face of Snapdragon. But there actually was one level in this entire world that caused me some trouble, and that was the Pirate Sea's boss. And on a rare occurrence, we do have to play this level since the Snapdragon appears in the conveyor. And normally you would think this would be a very easy level because the Snapdragon is just good enough to deal with the Planewalker by itself, but for some reason the level is coded in a way that you only get 2 Snapdragons no matter how many times you plant the other plants and shovel them up. And over time, I actually ended up losing my Snapdragons, which the boss would do its main attack, and then this parrot took my very last Snapdragon, and if the Snapdragons get eaten or taken away, you can get them again in the conveyor, but this time it was just too slow and the imps made it to the end before I got one. A very unexpected boss. And on the first level, I actually didn't know that there was a 2 Snapdragon limit and thought that I was just getting extremely unlucky. But I did find out on the second attempt that I started off by playing careful and planting my Snapdragons towards the back so the zombies would be dealt with. And this also meant that I wouldn't lose my zombies. As the level went on for literally about a minute and 30 seconds and I didn't get any more Snapdragons, I realized that there was that 2 Snapdragon limit. So I ended up having to shovel them just so I'd get more from the conveyor, and I was able to get 2 more to plant in that very front so they'd hit the Planewalker, but then the Planewalker spawned in this Gargantuar which took out the Snapdragon, and then I didn't get any more Snapdragons and the Gargantuar was able to walk all the way to the end, taking me out for a second time. On the third attempt I realized that I couldn't really employ any strategy to this and would just have to blitz through the Planewalker's health if I wanted.
Shop your new mattress your way at Ashley. Browse our wide selection online from the comfort of your home, or come in and see what feels good at one of our conveniently located stores. Shop Ashley in-store or online today.
Okay guys, we have one more. Whoa.
PvZ speedruns, not a very hot topic within the community, and rightfully so, because these can be extremely long and sometimes even boring. I was recently watching who I'm sure you all know of, and he was doing a PvZ2 all-world speedrun. And while watching, I thought to myself, what if I try this with max level plants? Would it be any faster? And if so, how much faster? That's what I'm here to try to figure out today. But before we begin, I have to lay down a couple of really important rules. No power-ups, Zen Garden, or buying plant food. I just want to see how well the plants can do by themselves. And secondly, I can only use plants when they are naturally unlocked, which also means no premium or gem same plants, unless the game forces us to use them. I had to mention this rule because I technically already have everything unlocked and didn't want there to be a misunderstanding regarding this. Okay, let's begin. Day 1 starts off, and we're only allowed to use sunflower, pea shooter, walnut, potato mine, and cabbage pulp. I know you can see the other 3 plants that I have, but I'm just forced to bring those in because I have them all unlocked. But as the rule stated, I'll only be using them when I'm naturally supposed to unlock them. This level I may do with sunflower, pea shooter, and cabbage pulps. And with the use of herbal plant food on the cabbage pulp, we beat day 1. Day 2 already had a bunch of plants planted beforehand. I just filled in 3 spaces with pea shooters just to make it a little bit faster, but it wasn't really even needed. And afterwards, I just used a couple of zappy powers to make the level go by faster. And with that, day 2 was beat. Day 3 again helps us off a little bit with 2 sunflowers and cabbage pulp, and then I placed 2 pea shooters to help me get rid of these early gravestones. After destroying the gravestones, I fill 1 column with pea shooters and the other with cabbage pulps, and this was basically enough to beat day 3. After beating day 3, we also unlocked the bloomerang. Day 4 is a conveyor level, and a lot of people in the comments of last videos said that if you plant the parts right away, the conveyor actually goes faster, which I didn't believe at first, but a lot of people mentioned Easy Speezy's name, and that he mentioned it, and if the goat's saying it, it must be true. So I went with it and tried to plant all my plants as fast as possible. And day 4 was beat by the 3 minutes and 30 second mark. As day 5's come around, I should probably explain the speedrun factor behind this and how to actually make the levels go faster. And it's pretty simple. All you have to do is just hit the zombies right away. I believe if they get under 50% health, it sends in the next wave of zombies. So the sooner you can hit the zombies, the faster you beat the level. That's basically it. After beating day 5, we unlock the iceberg lettuce. Day 6 is supposed to be sort of like a mini boss level for Ancient Egypt, but as all my plants are max level and they're very overpowered, it's not very difficult. So the main goal is just beating it as fast as possible. Day 7 starts, and there's like a pretty good amount of gravestones up front, and even though I want the pea shooters just to be my main damage source, I actually have to make use of the cabbage pulp just so I can hit the zombies behind the gravestones faster, because otherwise I'm just losing a couple seconds every level if I don't, and that can add up quickly. Also, you notice that I don't really make use of a lot of sunflowers, only like 1, 2, or like 3 every level, and that's because not many are needed since they're max level. The max level sunflower produces more sun, but then the max level pea shooters and cabbage pulps cost less sun. So it's like a double sun boost in a way. And day 7 was pretty easily beat. And so far, we're on about a minute per level pace. Day 8 starts off and gives us a little helping hand with the explorer zombies. They give us a walnut, iceberg lettuce, and then 2 potato mines behind to beat them. We actually don't really make use of these, and I end up just shoveling the walnut and the iceberg lettuce, and then spamming the map with pea shooters and 1 sunflower. That was enough to beat day 8. Day 9, I plant 1 sunflower, 1 cabbage pulp to take care of the early gravestones, and then just fill the map with a lot of pea shooters. It's now day 10, and some of you might be curious why I haven't really even used the boomerang or the iceberg lettuce. The boomerang, I don't really know why. Maybe I was just more allured by the pea shooter's 25 sun cost, but I do make use of the boomerang a little later on. Iceberg lettuce, on the other hand, is one of my favorite plants, but sadly, I couldn't use it because if by accident it freezes the last zombie, it ends up being a big time waste because the zombie just stays frozen on the screen and stops the level from being beat until it's unfrozen and then falls to the ground. I don't want that to happen on accident, so I just tried to avoid it. Day 11 had 2 flags, and I used 3 sunflowers, and then again, pea shooter spam, because it was just the most efficient thing I had. On day 12, my first sunflower instant plant fooded because of its mastery, and also my first cabbage pulp instant plant fooded because of its mastery, which was very helpful because it took off most of the graves from the screen, and then I could just rely on my pea shooters to beat the rest of day 12. Day 13 is a little restricting with the mold colonies in the back, but as we don't need too much space to actually make our defenses work, they're not too big of a problem. So day 13 was beat pretty fast as well. After day 13, we unlocked Bong Choy. Day 14 had a bunch of gravestones, but other than that, nothing too special. Day 15 gave us a special challenge of protecting these 3 sunflowers, and this made it so that we didn't have to place any sunflowers of our own, which was very helpful, and we quickly got down our defenses and beat day 15. Day 16 was a pretty easy and fast level. Day 17 is one of the levels that in the recent update got a little glitched because it's a level that we can't have more than a certain number of plants on the screen, which is 14 for this level, but as you can see, I'm placing plants down, but the number isn't going down, so it's just glitched out and you can plant as many as you wanted, but I still tried to abide by the rules of the level, so I only used 14 plants and we're able to pretty easily beat day day 17. Day 18, I finally made use of the Bloomerang and prepped some defenses. And you'll notice that I only planted one column of Bloomerangs and then started the level off without using all of my sun. That's because this one column is enough to beat the entire level, and we want to start the level as soon as possible so we can end it as soon as possible. I hope that makes sense. But if it doesn't, just know that this way is faster. And with that, day 18 was beat. Day 19 had some mold colonies, and again, a 16 plant limit, which again was glitched. You also notice that I don't have any sunflowers, and that's because I did the quick pick option. And as we didn't have any flowers in the lineup for day 18, day 19 carried over. And you'll be seeing me make this mistake way too many times throughout this challenge. But thankfully, since all the plants are very cheap, a normal falling sun is usually enough to help me beat the levels. Beating day 19, we unlocked Repeater. Day 20, I remembered to bring Sunflower in, but as we had to protect 4 Sunflower that the game gave us, I actually didn't have to make use of it. And I made use of mostly Bloomerang to beat this level. Day 21 gives us the Twin Sunflower, Kernel Pult, and Melon Pult to try out. And the Twin Sunflower is a little too expensive for my liking, so I ended up just using one Sunflower instead of it. And then a column of Pea Shooters, Cabbage Pults, and Melon Pults were able to beat this full day. Day 22 had an 18 plant limit, and I got through it by only using 15 plants. Day 23, again, the one Sunflower and the handy dandy Pea Shooter, Cabbage Pult columns, and even the Gargantuars weren't a threat to these guys. Day 24, I prepped some defenses. And afterwards, we unlocked Twin Sunflower. Day 25 was a boss level, but in the face of max level plants, the boss levels become a joke. And instead of being the longest level of the entire world, the boss level actually became the shortest level, with us beating it in only 40 seconds. And that was all of Ancient Egypt, beaten in about 30 minutes. Next up, Pirate Seeds. Day 1, we plant a sunflower in the back, and then a whole column of shooters to begin with, slowly planting the second one right afterwards. And I also placed a Twin Sunflower, and then to get a column of Bloomerangs off, but I didn't have enough time. Beating day 1, we also unlocked Kernel Pult. We don't really make much use of the Kernel Pult because the Pea Shooter's shooting velocity is just much better for the speedrun. And so again, that's what we do on day 2, is spamming Pea Shooters. Day 3, I switched it up a little bit. Instead of placing 2 columns of just Pea Shooters, I did 1 column of Pea Shooters and then a second column of Bloomerangs. And to help with this, I planted some extra sunflowers. After day 3, we unlocked Snapdragon. Now Snapdragon is one of the important plants this run, but I didn't use it on day 4 in some of the upcoming levels because I felt like the Pea Shooter Bloomerang was still better for now, but later on, the Snapdragon is definitely needed. The next couple of levels are beaten using the Pea Shooter Bloomerang method. Day 8 was a conveyor level, and the conveyor levels can be a little annoying when they keep giving you defensive plants such as the walnut, because the defensive aspect isn't really needed in this challenge since the damage of the other plants is just so good. So these can hold you back a little bit, but it's not too bad. So we beat day 8 pretty fast with the help of the Snapdragon, Spikeweeds, and Kernel Pulse. Days 9 through 11, again, we utilized the Pea Shooter and Bloomerang method. Day 12 was a special level where we're given 5 coconut cannons and a target point score of 3,000. And to get these points, you're supposed to combo these seagulls that come in with the perfectly timed coconut cannon shots. And as the 3,000 is a really easy goal to attain, I got it pretty fast, but then we still had to play the rest of the level as the level doesn't end when you reach this target score. So I decided to test out how good I could get the score to, and I ended with 19,900. I don't really know what the high score is overall, but let me know what your highest score is in the comments. Day 13, the special challenge was producing 2,000 sun, so that's what I decided to focus on at first, placing 1 column of Pea Shooters to begin with, just so they could hold the zombies off, and then spamming sunflowers until we got that 2,000. And as we're nearing that 2,000 sun goal, I started placing my Bloomerangs as I was confident that we were going to reach the goal, and this would just make the level go by faster. Day 14, I quickly prepped a column of Bloomerangs, and then later a column of Repeaters and a Cabbage Pult to take care of the rest of day 14.
Toyotathon is on! Discover holiday magic with a new Toyota. Awesome. Oh, Santa got my letter.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care. That's the value you can expect from Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
After day 14, I unlocked the second of who I would call the big three plants, the three-peater. The first of the big three was Snapdragon. The three-peater is really good because it can target its adjacent lanes and its own lane. And this is very useful because it allows me to not focus too much on my placements, as I can just place them in these 2 rows, making them able to hit every lane. Day 15, we had to protect these flowers in the back from getting trampled on, and these 4 repeaters were able to do it all just by themselves. Day 16, again, we had to protect these spring beans, and I only made use of 4 repeaters that were able to take care of all the zombies. Day 17, I started off with the Bloomerang pea shooter strategy, but towards the end, placed 2 three-peaters, as their plant food is really good at taking out the big waves of zombies really fast. Day 18, the game chose our plants for me, and they didn't have any sunflowers in that lineup, but thankfully this level dropped sun, I think at like twice or 3 times the speed, so it wasn't really an issue, and we beat it pretty easily with the use of pea shooters and repeaters. Day 19 was another produce 1750 sun level, and I did so by spamming sunflowers, twin sunflowers, and repeaters. Also this one pea shooter. Day 20, again, produced 1000 sun, which is really easy, and then just beat the rest of the level with the repeaters and pea shooters. Day 21, one more time, produced 2500 sun. I don't know why there's 3 of these in a row, but hey, I don't mind, it's pretty easy. Day 22, I started off by prepping 2 three-peaters, and as the level progressed, planted as many repeaters as I could to beat day 22. Day 23, again, I made the mistake of not bringing in a sunflower because of the previous level, so I had to resort back to the 25 sun cost pea shooters to beat this level. Day 24, I made use of pea shooters and boomerangs, and then day 25 came in the boss. We were first given 2 coconut cannons, and the first one did about a fifth of its health, and then this three-peater insta-plant fooded and took it down to 1/3, which was pretty crazy. And then a couple seconds later, another coconut cannon plant food, the repeater, and the snapdragons were able to beat the boss very fast. Just goes to show how OP these max level plants really are. The first 3 levels of the Wild West we beat using the three-peater and pea shooters. Day 4, although slows down the pacing of the speedrun by a tremendous amount, it's still a really fun level because it's kind of like a puzzle. I placed the first 2 pea shooters on the tracks with the most access to all the lanes, and then as the level gave us a couple repeaters and three-peaters and split peas, it was made pretty easy, and we beat it around the 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 30-second mark. Day 5, we're back to the normal three-peater and sunflower strategy. Day 6, I prepped a couple defenses. Day 7, again, I forgot sunflowers because of the previous level, so I started off with a full column of pea shooters and then added three-peaters to take care of the rest of the level. Day 8 was a mini-boss conveyor level that mostly included pea pods, where we had to maneuver around on the rail tracks to take care of the zombies. It wasn't too difficult of a level, just a little bit of micromanaging, and as the Gargantuar started coming in, I started using my plant foods to take care of them. And with that, day 8 was beat. Day 9, the game chooses our plants for us, and it gives us the split pea, the chili bean, walnut, electric reed, and wintermelon. And we basically only used the electric reed to beat most of this level. Wintermelon I placed down for no reason, but the electric reed's attack speed is just much better. And after beating day 9, we unlock the electric reed. The electric reed is the last plant of the big 3. Day 10 is where I start the use of a completely new strategy, and that's using electric reed and snapdragon. And you might have noticed a similarity between all 3 plants that are in the big 3. They're all plants that you can place in the middle 2 rows, and they're able to hit the adjacent columns. And this is important because I can place 2 plants down and basically account for all the levels before the first zombie even comes in. And this extremely speeds up the process of defeating the levels. Day 11, I can only spend 500 sun, so I placed 1 sunflower, 2 snapdragons, and 4 lightning reeds. This was more than enough to beat day 11. Day 12 was another puzzle conveyor level that first started off with the boomerang, and then later on gave us 2 lightning reeds that are able to just solo the rest of day 12. Day 13, we went back to the big 3 with the electric reed, three-peater, and snapdragon combo. Same with day 14. Day 15, we couldn't lose more than 2 plants, and that wasn't really that big of a challenge. Day 16, we had to protect this walnut, and we did so by spamming lightning reed and 3 snapdragons. Day 17, we couldn't let the zombies trample these flowers, so I protected them with the column of lightning reeds right in front of them, and then a column of snapdragons up front to beat all the zombies. Day 18, I prepped a couple defenses. Day 19 had a sun limit, and I beat it by using 2 lightning reed and a spam of snapdragons up front. Day 20 was another puzzle conveyor, and the last wave is pretty scary on this one because it has a chicken wrangler and the level doesn't give us any lawnmowers, so we actually have to maneuver the pea shooters properly just so they don't break through. Day 21, we could only spend 1750 sun, and we had to protect these flowers from being trampled on, and I did so with 3 lightning reed and a few snapdragons. Day 22 chooses the plants for you, and it gives you sunflower, repeater, boomerang, iceberg lettuce, potato mine, and wintermelon. I would use repeater, but the cost on it for its effectiveness is a little too high, so I ended up going with the boomerang and then 2 wintermelon to finish the defense off. Day 23, I can't lose 2 plants, and we have to protect these flowers from being trampled on. And I know this level has chicken wranglers, so I ended up just spamming a ton of lightning reed just to make sure that they didn't get through. Day 24, we protect these walnuts, and the first thing I do is move them all into the same lane so they're just easier to manage. And then I place lightning reeds and snapdragons to take care of the level without losing a single walnut. And day 25 was the boss of the Wild West. If you remember last video with only lightning reed, this level took me a few tries and a lot of headaches to beat, but with the help of the other plants that are in the conveyor, this